frankly, the market is not rewarding, has not historically rewarded these interpersonal skills. They've rewarded LSAT scores, and frankly, we know from the Berkeley study, that, the successful lawyer Berkeley study, that the LSAT is correlated with analytical ability, but it's also slightly negatively correlated with networking skills. So you get one thing, you get another. I mean, it's a risky proposition here.
Every company has certain competency models, and we have one we had one in Sharing Plow, and it was we had a career ladder and all that kind of stuff. And most of it is about teamwork and collaboration and leadership and ethics and that kind of stuff. So when we actually hire lawyers to come in-house, we do look at that. So and I know that law firms generally look at it, but I think you're right. They sort of look at technical skills,
top
right?
15%,
Right, exactly. So how do we? I guess this is more of a question. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this as a panelist, but can I ask a question? So how do you sort of go from, at the end of the day, if they come in-house, we want those skill sets. Law firms, some firms want them, some firms don't. How do we sort of bridge this gap? Right? How do we get the law schools? I know you're not speaking for all of them, but your law school. How do we get you guys to make sure that the lawyers that we're going to see, either in firms or in our law departments, have those other skill sets? And it's not just about putting them through some tests, right? It's about real life practicality. And does that really get to the question of should you really have an internship program? Should you move to the medical model, where you go through 3 years of law school or maybe 2 years of law school, and then you actually have them do stuff that actually requires leadership and teamwork and all this other stuff before they're actually real lawyers?
There's some people that would argue that the only people that might make that happen are Gary, Michael, and Tom. That when you start demanding the associates that come in have those kinds of skills, are you willing to start demanding that of the firms that you have?
We almost never hire anybody who doesn't have 4 or 5 years experience. And so we do, we're a corporation too, and we do all the stuff that Tom was talking about when we hire people, although we're mostly looking for expertise in particular areas. We're hiring people with particular kinds of expertise. So from that perspective, I guess I'm indifferent to whether they learn that at the law firm or in school, as long as I don't have to pay for it when they learn it at the law firm. And when the hourly rate is always designed to get me to pay for it, so we try not to do that. But those are important skills. They're essential skills in the corporate environment. And I think I was in a private law firm much longer than have been on the corporate side, and I think they're critical skills in the law firm context too. I mean, I agree with Martin. I used to say to my partners, and it would drive them nuts, that analytical excellence is an overstated value, and actually knowing something about how the world works is an undervalued quality in most law firms.
Mike, you kind of sit in the middle between the students and the clients and the firms. I mean, what do you see as the biggest opportunity out there today for a firm to be successful?
I guess I keep coming back to the business model dimension of this, which is clearly the law firm's customer wants to see better trained lawyers. This is going back to Pete's diamond model. They want to see. They don't want to be spending a lot of money on associates who are less productive. And so I think it behooves the law firm itself, and I think it's nice to kind of push it on to the law school, but I think the reality is where this is really going to happen has got to be actually in the law firm. And those kinds of skills and training and development are going to need to occur. I think the big question is, and the issue is going to be, how do the economics of the model support that? I think 3 years in law school is probably too short. These are skills you have to acquire over a long period of time. I mean, teamwork is hard to really effectively learn until you're really in the mix of real legal issues. But if it's going to be pushed to the law firm, then how do you have your diamond model? I mean, I think that's in part some of the struggle. One of the things that can help, I think, is technology and the adoption of technology. I think that can help in part law firm lawyers get up to speed quicker, faster, more effectively, more efficiently, collaborate better. But that's not the only answer. It's got to be inside the firms themselves.
on this point you were talking about, the arc of how lawyers acquire skills. We've got them for 3 years, and all we do is teach them law. We don't teach them anything else. I mean, I'm talking about the academy writ large, and so they get to the doorstep of Pete's or Martin's shop, and then oh, teamwork's important. Oh, leadership's important. Oh, project management is important. And I think that the opportunity, I won't phrase this in terms of what we're doing wrong, but an opportunity, what we have to do is any law school that realizes this is a great opportunity to emphasize these skills, and to a certain extent we can experiment and we can learn how lawyers develop, and we can interface with the law firm and say, this is what we've learned for 3 years of trying to get these people up to speed, and we can have some of our competency-based models that could have direct application with one of our customers, which is legal employers. Our customers are students, but our customers are legal employers as well. So I think we've got a great opportunity here.
I think you got a great opportunity. The interesting thing is, again, why is it taking so long? There's clearly that opportunity. I think there's a clear imperative among the law firms and in corporations to have lawyers come in better trained to face the realities of what they have to face day one in a law firm. And yet, you're right. What do? You know, we're teaching the Socratic method. You know, we're having people stand up and recite cases.
That's really not an accurate description of the legal educational model, which I've criticized repeatedly tonight and before tonight. But that's not accurate. In point of fact, these kids show up in September of year 1 and they leave in May or June of year 3. You have them for 27 months. I have them for 6 months. 6 of those months are in work setting environments. You don't want to believe it, but it's true. Many of those kids work while they're going to school. They work in a variety of environments, maybe in a law office, maybe work weekends, and they are getting the worldly experience. You are not going to ever have a year of internship. You know why? Because you can't lay off tenured professors. You can't truncate legal education down to 2 years. And it would be manifestly unfair for the law student, for whom no one's speaking at this engagement, to add on another year after loading them up with law school debt, averaging, the stats I saw, $100,000 per law student on top of their undergraduate debt, to go out and say, you get paid $40 a week and all you can eat, but you're going to get all this team building stuff. So that's one point. The second point is, you guys are too hard on yourselves. You know, you really are. When I hear about all of the inflated claims made by MBAs, a group that hitherto I haven't insulted tonight, so I'll get to it.
Thank you.
And the MBA educational experience and team building and all the rest, there's nothing I know there that is as weighty as a group of 15 or 20 students putting out a law review, okay? Nothing I know. You know, where the whole academic world, the whole globe of academics is going to find its way to your work product, and the only way you cause that to happen is by teamwork. What I would really propose is that we all just face the fact that there is a continuum on which we all depend. You guys don't want to pay for the first few years. The law student cannot afford to pay for it himself or herself. The law school is not going to do anything revolutionary. If law firms or law department move glacially, you guys are inert. Okay, so that ain't going to happen. We just have to face up to the fact that this continuum has to be on which we all depend, has to be a shared cost experience.